Hello, good afternoon. How is everyone feeling? My name is Analo Kanga, and you're very much welcome to the webinar. So we will begin today by doing a short survey. So my name is Analo Kanga, like I've said, and today's webinar is, as you already know, professional polish, soft skills for a global career. So I think even as an institute and as a digital media institute, at ADMI, we focus a lot on developing technical skill sets. But aside from that, it's very important for us to develop our soft skills, people management. There's a saying that says, developing your career is 75% soft skills and 25% technical abilities. So I can just give a brief introduction about ADMI and the work that we do with Accelerated. So if you're hearing about us for the first time, Africa Digital Media Institute is a creative media and technology training institute. We work to give Africa's creatives the training, mentorship, and platform they need to turn their passions into a profession. And that's our logo, turning our passion into a profession. Accelerated, on the other hand, is a skilling accelerator by ADMI that focuses on career professionals. So while ADMI is, we offer diploma and certificate courses for young creatives, Accelerated works with people who are already in the workforce, people who have already developed their careers and just need that extra oomph to get them to the next level. So we help professionals to accelerate their career growth and thrive in digital first workplaces. Okay, so the way we do this at Accelerated is by teaching skills that are future forward. So we definitely teach things like digital marketing and also things like professional polish, which we'll be talking about today, and organizing forums like this webinar. So karibuni sana. So before we begin, I'd just like to do some housekeeping for all of us so that we enjoy the next 1.5 hours from our very able speaker today. So just making sure all your mics are on mute. If you have a question or something that's not clear, just drop it in the chat, or you can raise your hand as well and we'll get to you immediately. But before I invite our very esteemed speaker, I'd like us to do an icebreaker and just to ask a few questions to each and every one of you, get to know how everyone is feeling on this very sunny Friday afternoon. So I hope everyone can see the screen. There's a Mentimeter there. So just ask 3 questions for how your week has been. There's a link that you should be able to see so that you're able to participate in the Mentimeter. So describe your week in 1 word. Okay, so how has your week been? How is the weather? How is work? How is life? Okay, so I can see here we're about 20 of us. So you can just respond, describe how your week was in 1 word. Yeah, so there's a link there you can see that you can go to menti.com. So you can use any of your gadgets. You can use your laptop or your phone, however you're joining this webinar, for you to access the Mentimeter at menti.com. Yeah, and there's the code there. So the password is 32994716. You can see it in the chat as well as on the screen. 32994716. So anyone else, how has your week been in 1 word? 7 responses so far. So thoughtful, challenging, hectic, productive, cool, that's really nice, amazing, content, okay, I like that one, fulfilling, challenging, sad, someone said sad, okay, hopefully we can change that today. So stressful, noted, amazing, busy, good, okay, challenging, challenges are good. Thank you very much. So we'll just go to the next question. Just 2 more questions and then I will introduce our speaker. So what's one thing you hope to learn from today's session? So what is it that you hope to gain from this webinar, Professional Polish, Soft Skills for a Global Career? What do you hope to gain from the conversation, from the presentation? It's open to anything that you feel. So networking, very important, very crucial. Networking is one of those things that is falsely looks easy, but is actually very complicated. Someone says they want to get content, definitely very much important. Knowledge is power. What's one thing you'd hope to learn from today's session? Insights, advice, essentials. Yeah, I agree with that one. You know, a quick handbook, 3 things that you can achieve. Advice. Anyone else? Something that you want to achieve from today's session? Networking skills, professionalism. I really like that word, professionalism. Soft skills in general, yes, definitely. Networking. 9 responses so far out of the 25 of us. Social mechanisms. Okay, interesting. Social mechanisms. Okay, I will assume the rest are still warming up. So no pressure, no pressure, networking. So maybe we can go on to the last question for today. So what does soft skills mean to you, or what do soft skills mean to you? Because today we'll be talking about soft skills, definitely in the context of career development and professional development. So what are soft skills? Okay. Yeah, I can start by saying they are tools that we use to navigate the workspace, that we use to develop ourselves and others. Okay. So what do soft skills mean to you? Or it could be something as simple as life hacks, you know? So what does soft skills mean to you? This is the last question for today. Being personable, comms, I guess, meaning communication, especially in the workplace. Listening, very important. Listening is one that's very close to my heart as a musician as well. Connectivity, self-awareness, yes. Yeah, you know, you can't pour from an empty cup. So being aware of who you are as a person, and that goes also with being personable, you know, behavior, yes. I mean, in the workplace, you want to be yourself, but more importantly, you want to be your best professional self. So yes, adaptability. That's so beautiful, especially in a really fast-paced and digitally placed workforce. Adaptability. A few more responses, then we can start. Character. That's so beautiful. Yeah, your character will always shine through your actions and inactions. Yeah, connectivity. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. So for everyone who has participated, people skills, yes. And I think the whole concept of people skills, polish, you know, it can sound a bit ambiguous. So thank you so much for responding. Thank you, ADMI, for helping us with the Mentimeter. So I will take this opportunity to introduce our speaker for today. So our speaker for today is a very lovely professional. She goes by the name Shiko Munuku. Okay, so Shiko's joy is to see young people inspired to pursue their passion and perfect their gifts so that they can live rich and fulfilled lives. She has spent the last 7 years training and coaching young creatives and professionals to develop their soft skills and professional polish to enable them to stand out in the workplace. Okay, so Shiko is a very important co-faculty member for both ADMI and Accelerated. So she joined the Africa Digital Media Institute in July 2016, and where she was part of the team that launched the Career Launchpad program, okay, which is a common program across all our diploma and certificate courses, yeah, in career development at ADMI. A course that seeks to equip professionals with the soft skills required to succeed in the workplace, and is currently lead faculty in the program, which she has been for a long time. A teacher at heart, she holds a bachelor's degree in education from the Kenyatta University. Okay, she has over 10 years, over a decade, guys, of experience in the corporate industry in credit management and public relations management. Shiko is a trainer of trainers. So she teaches the leaders how to lead, yeah? Having trained with Business Options Africa, Power Talks Limited, and Razor Resource Business Communications, building teams that work. Customer service, business etiquette, personal branding, very important, strategic planning, and vision and diversity management. Shiko is also an inspirational speaker, which I personally can attest to, corporate MC and moderator, and is equipped to coach and support professionals in various fields to develop their public speaking, a very big part of professional polish, and presentation skills to audiences. She is passionate about transformational leadership. She holds a leadership diploma certificate from the World of Faith Bible Institute. So there's basically nothing that she doesn't know about how to develop your professional polish. Okay, at home with the creatives, Shiko is also a singer and songwriter who believes it's time for Africa in the music space. So I'll take this opportunity to welcome our speaker for today, Shiko Muniku. And just before she begins, Shiko, I have one question for you. So aside from your very impressive bio, and we're so excited to hear from you today, is there something about yourself that we don't know? So a unique fact about you.
Well, first of all, Analo, thank you so much. That intro is so beautiful. I'm almost like, is that me? Thank you
It
so
is.
much.
Welcome.
What you may not know that was not captured in the bio is I love to dance.
Oh, wow.
And many years back, I think I came out second in a dance competition at the Lyons Concerts. when I
Wow.
when I was a student, when I was a student there. So that's a little thing you may not know. Right. Yeah. Thank you. Anala, thank you so much. That's such a beautiful intro. And I know you'll be with us because, of course,
Yes.
I'll still want to have a bit of a chat with you later. People may not know, but Nalo also trains in, apart from being an amazing saxophonist, an amazing artist, now with Soul Generation, she's also one of the faculty, actually, that trains in Career Launchpad. So this is her forte as well. So she'll be here to assist me as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. I'm very excited to see all of you who have logged on to be with us today. I hope you're all doing great. I saw some guys are feeling a little stressed at the end of the week. I guess this means it has been a really tight week, a really busy week for you. And we just hope our interaction today will be uplifting for you and at the end will end, in a joyful note. I really am so grateful for this opportunity to talk to you about something that I wish when I was in college, for example, somebody had talked to me about soft skills. And I love all the definitions you've given in our little exercise earlier, because those indeed are the soft skills we'll be talking about. You can be very, very good at what you do in your technical know-how and expertise. But if you lack soft skills, then it becomes a challenge in you being able to excel in your career. So I would want to share my screen briefly, though today will be more of a discussion, but allow me to share my screen just a minute. So welcome everyone. It is wonderful to see you here. Okay, so please enable me to share my screen, our lovely hosts. All the definitions you gave us of soft skills are really true. I think, okay, I got it. There we are. So we'll be all right in a minute. Give me a minute. Okay. I'll just share my screen for a little while and then we come back and just have a chat about what we're talking about today. All right. So I would like us to just define soft skills. Then I'll come back here. So soft skills have many definitions, but one of them is that they are the personal attributes that enable you to interact effectively with others. So whether in the workplace or at home or in your social relationships, soft skills are the personal attributes that enable you to interact effectively with others. Another definition tells us that soft skills are general traits not specific to any particular job, but which help employees excel in any workplace. I don't know if any of you has ever had an experience whereby what let you down was not your technical know-how. It was not your book knowledge, but a lack of a soft skill. In my time in the corporate sector, now when I look back, I can see clear little things that made it difficult for me in at certain phases of my career to move ahead because I was not able to do. And this had nothing to do with my technical know-how, to do with my book knowledge. It was all about the soft skills, the little skills. So when I talk and train in this area, I drew from that experience as well as what is now current. So it would be interesting to know that soft skills are very important. It is not something you can ignore. I often tell my students when I meet them that even in an interview, what will set you apart is normally your soft skills. Because by the time they have shortlisted you and allowed you to come in for the interview, it means by then they've already ensured you have the technical skills that are needed. At this point, it is quite clear to them you already can do the job technically. Now, what are they checking? They're checking to see if you're the kind of person that they would want to work with in a team. You're the kind of person that they would be happy to represent their organization. They're looking at the other softer issues. And now we see that employers are really, really interested in your soft skills. First, several studies that have been done, and the ones I've looked at are between 2015 and 2023, we see that employers have said that they are generally satisfied with the disciplinary knowledge of fresh graduates or students or fresh employees, but very disappointed in their personal qualities, things like reliability, versatility, teamwork, and problem solving, as well as, interestingly, digital skills. Does it surprise you that employers are talking about digital skills in a time when, everybody is so digitally savvy? Does it surprise you that they're actually saying that these people may be on their smartphone the entire time, may be glued to their glued to their smartphone, but when it comes to use digital platforms for work, they are lacking. Another study, this particular one is by Moy University, showed that employers were increasingly dissatisfied with the lack of soft skills from their employees, especially things to do with teamwork. These employees also had poor personal attributes, and these are now the ones, especially the fresh university graduates. It will interest you to know that employers also say they want employees who have a global perspective and understand how to deal with diversity. So first, I would like to ask you a question. What to you is versatility? So when you look at your own career, what is versatility? What would you say is versatility? What is versatility to you? Because that's one of the keys that they're telling us that they want us to be able to have. What is versatility? What would you say it is? Has anybody told us what is versatility to you? What would you say is versatility? Because employers are saying they want somebody who's versatile. Somebody who's versatile. Let me see. Okay. Versatility, anybody? They are telling us they want you to not only, okay, I got you there. I have Simon Kadiri says it's the ability to adapt to changes. Good. Somebody says malleability. You can adjust swiftly depending on the dynamics at play. Okay. Ability to adapt to different environments, usefulness, a wide range of skill set, and the ability to perform numerous tasks or roles throughout an organization. So that is very close. And in fact, what we're looking for, being able to do multiple activities in a given situation. So what would I say? Versatility really is that skill you have. You're able to use it to do different things within an organization. Yes, somebody says that versatility is being able to do several tasks and learn fast. Yes, being able to be versatile. You're able to do different tasks, different things, but also that skill you have, you're able to think outside the box and use it to do different things. Because I know I'm speaking to a lot of creative media professionals here. Also, I mean, it's if I am a camera operator, I should be able to use that for a music video, that same skill, use it for a film production, that same skill, use it to do a documentary for a corporate, that same skill, use it to cover events. The ability to take what you have and be able to create value out of it in different situations. Now, I also want to ask, what would you say is diversity? Because employers are saying they want employees who have a global perspective and understand how to deal with diversity. So for you, in your own workspace, how do you have to deal with diversity? Because we all have to. Unless you work from home and it's only you at home. Right? So, how do you have to deal with diversity? Oh, I can see some good ones. Wear many hats in a row, good. Ability to grow and transform self in tandem with the different growth phases of the organization. Oh, that is a very good one. That's a very good one. And I think we'll come and talk a little bit about that. Employers also say they want employees who have a global perspective and understand how to deal with diversity. What would you say? How do you need to deal with diversity in your own role where you work? Because I mean, this is really practical. How do you deal with diversity? What kind of diversity are you faced with currently in your own workspace? What kind of diversity are you faced with currently? Because we are being told this is a critical thing employers are looking for. And I'll say this, even if you're not an employee, even if you're a freelancer, even if you're in the gig economy, regardless of where you are, you will have to deal with diversity. So somebody says cultural backgrounds, absolutely. Mother J says tolerating and accommodating differences among cultures, backgrounds. We have disabilities, opinions, very good. Something else, dealing with diversity, with the ones you have to deal with for you now. Able to flow with different personalities, absolutely. Something else, somebody else in your own workspace. Now, this is now something you are having to deal with, dealing with diversity. Sexual orientation. That's an interesting one, but true. For those of us who are in Kenya, because I know there's people who are joining who may not be from Kenya or from Africa, I know it may not be so pronounced here in Kenya, but I'd like to say this when I speak to people that whatever you see happening globally eventually comes to Africa. And so knowing how to navigate that space of people of different sexual orientation may be something that you will have to address, especially those who are going to go and work abroad, going to go and work in the West, whereby this is something major. Ability to accept others' opinions, that's really true. Honest communication. All right, say a little bit about that more in dealing with diversity. Providing training on diversity to encourage open-mindedness. Yes, I know some organizations really are working very hard to equip their people with being able to deal with diversity. It includes aspects that make us unique individuals, both visible and invisible. Yes, and sometimes the invisible ones can really be the ones that trip us. So it's important for us to be able to deal with diversity. And we have very strong views about certain things. But unless I'm able to see the bigger picture, see the common goal that brings us all together, it can be very difficult to deal with diversity. And dealing with diversity really takes several things. One of them takes you doing some research. You have to research and understand, especially those of us who are working outside of our community, our comfort zone. You must be able to research and be able to be willing to learn about the other person you're working with. Be able to listen. I think somebody said one of the important soft skills is listening. And there's a few more that I'm not seeing here that are critical ones, because we're working in a workplace whereby we're having several generations at work in the same time. We have the millennials, the Gen X, even some of the baby boomers haven't left the workspace, they're still with us. And then we're also having the Gen Z, and those below that, a Gen Alpha. And generational differences, and also it's something we're having to navigate in the workplace. Religion is a big one, isn't it? Acceptance of others' opinions, good. So dealing with diversity actually can make or break a team. You have already seen some of the things employers are looking for, which is teamwork. That's a big one. And our ability to deal with diversity will affect our ability to work well in a team. And ability to work in a team is a critical one that every employer wants to find. Today, especially with the current economy, you will find that most employers do not want a situation whereby they lose a good person once they have found one, but also they want to have a lean team. A lean team that is efficient in what they're doing, a lean team that is able to produce great value for the organization. But also, that lean team needs to be able to work together in such a way that they are able to multiply that value within the organization for the clients and for the various stakeholders and among themselves. So dealing with diversity becomes very, very important. And before we move further, I'd like someone to just type in the chat, how have you dealt with diversity? Give me a few tips on how we can deal with diversity, because this particular soft skill is critical for a global career. You see, as long as I'm working in my village, I can be allowed to say all manner of things. I can go with any stereotype I want and get away with it, because everybody in my village probably thinks has the same stereotypical kind of thinking. But how will I help myself? How will I, what are some of the tips you can give me that I can use if I'm going to leave my village and go and work globally? I know I may have some people here who may not even be from Africa, right? So what are some of the things that you have found? And then I'll give you mine. So let's see who we have. One person had actually said their organization, or I don't know if she's the one that actually does it, providing training on diversity to encourage open-mindedness. I can lift that one. Oh, this is a good one. Listening twice before speaking. I like this. Listen, I think, to understand, not just to respond. There are people who listen to respond, meaning as you're talking, they're rehearsing their answer in their head. They're hearing nothing you're saying. As you're talking, they're not listening to you. They're just rehearsing what they'll say. So they're just waiting for your mouth to keep quiet, for them to now say their own. So listening twice. Listen before speaking. Listen to understand. Very good. I like that one. Any other one that you've used that has helped you in dealing with diversity? Because these are critical soft skills. Applying inclusivity. So talk a little bit about that, because it's very, very important. I know there are organizations whereby you must include minorities, and they have a hiring policy that includes that demands and expects you to include minorities, not just to go with only the majority. Is there another one? So even in your own, when you're working in teams, when you're doing all kinds of things, it's ensuring that you include everyone. Oh, the guys are giving us amazing ones. There is in their workplace, they have a communication barrier. So what we did was to handle to translate work documents into different languages. That's amazing. Yeah. International organizations, people may not all speak the same language, and it's very important to take care of everybody. And let me throw this the other way. I mean, we cannot have you working here in Kenya and choosing to speak your mother tongue, and you're working in Nairobi, where people are, we are a very cosmopolitan nation, isn't it? So not also stopping other people through the wrong use of language, isn't it? We must take care of everybody. Encourage participation and contribution from diverse voices. That's very good as well. Self-awareness. Oh, this is so good. Self-awareness to help identify stereotypes and your own biases, both conscious or unconscious. This is so good because sometimes we do not know. You may have had over and over and over again, these kind of people are this, these other ones are this, till you form a bias that begins to affect how you treat your colleague, how you treat even clients. But when you're self-aware and you start identifying and dealing with those biases, you're better positioned to deal with diversity. Remember, we are talking about getting global careers or careers that are globally relevant. Learning about the working environment, keeping an open mind, encourage participation and contribution from diverse voices. Create spaces where everyone feels welcome, respected, and valued. This has to be very intentional. Very intentional from even the policy, especially those who are policy makers here, from the human resource person to the director, to the owners of the organization, to the team leaders within the teams. You must determine and create policies that enable the organization to create spaces where everyone feels welcome, respected, and valued. Okay, let me see who else is telling me something. Participation and involvement, very good. Infrastructure, this is also good. Infrastructure inclusivity. For example, the use of ramps for physically challenged people, interpreters for different languages, very, very good. Sign language interpreters, especially when you have hired somebody who for them, they're differently challenged in that area, differently abled in that area. That is very, very important. So even this is not even for the policymakers, the strategy leaders, ensuring that even there's infrastructural inclusivity. Very good. All these are amazing. And one of the key things I like to tell teams that are very diverse, it's important for there to be very clear communication about vision. Everybody needs to be able to understand why they are there. If the vision stays in the mind of the people, and if you and I keep the vision of the organization, the purpose of our coming together in mind, it becomes easier for us to overlook the things that may be causing friction, because that are not work related. Me being from a particular religion should not affect the way I do my work. In fact, it's supposed to help me do my work better. If I say I'm a Christian, then my Christianity is supposed to impact my effectiveness, my creativity in the workspace. If you're Muslim or whichever other religion, your religion should be felt in your effectiveness, in your kindness, in your the way you handle everybody else. It should not come to divide the people. But when we're in the workplace, what is our focus here? It is the organization's vision. So having clear communication also about vision, the vision of the organization, the purpose for the team coming together is a critical factor in helping everybody buy into what we have together. And this gives us motivation and strength to handle the things that are different among us. So this is all very important. And the last one I will read, embracing and appreciating the diversity will always create a good relationship among employees within the organization. Oh, I like this one for the managers, supervisors, lead by example. Yes. And it starts and stops with leadership. And if you're not seeing people being able to deal well with diversity in the organization, check yourself as the leader. Are you leading us? All right. So then we go on and we see that the global pandemic and even our current situation today has changed the workplace in many ways. Between the global pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, today the workplace has truly changed. And so there are particular work soft skills that are required of all of us. If there is something that COVID-19 taught us, is that you just have to be adaptable. You have to be a critical thinker, a problem solver. And so we are now seeing there's certain soft skills that are now really being emphasized globally in the workplace. And the first one I'll start with is adaptability. You cannot be rigid and survive in today's workplace. You must be adaptable. You must be able to embrace what you have to work with and make the best out of it. Adaptability also goes very closely with teachability. And these are key things that employers are looking for today. Because if you come on board today, that the digital space is moving so fast. Technology is moving so fast that if I'm not teachable, very soon I will be obsolete in my workplace. You see, what was relevant 5 years ago starts to fade away. There are certain softwares we're using today to do our work in any area. And you might find in 5 years from now, we have moved on to other things and we have been the best in this particular thing. But next year, 5 years from now, if I'm not teachable, I may find myself becoming obsolete. The way we do our work has to continue to evolve to match the demands of the time we're in. So adaptability is another very critical thing that you and I must have. And adaptability must work together with teachability, ability to learn. I would say we throw in humility in this mix. Because if I'm not humble, I may not be able to allow for mentorship, reverse mentorship, if I'm a leader. There are some young people that will come to the workplace who can teach you a thing or two. You who has run that organization for 20 years, 10 years. But there are certain things the fresh eye, the younger mind may have that brings to your organization. So you are not exempted from adaptability as a leader as well, and teachability. Because you must be able to learn and stay relevant. You must be able to operate new systems that are now making your work easier in the space you're in. So adaptability is a critical one. Teamwork is the other one. But before I go to that, what would you guys say can be a challenge to adaptability? Because adaptability is so critical. In fact, this is one of the key things that employers are looking for today. Teachability, because they are very aware that when you come on board today, there's what will give you to work with. The tools you used to work with may change in 2 years' time, especially if you are to keep abreast of the competition, if you are to stay relevant and cutting edge in our particular careers. So this one, all of us must be able to develop it. So I'd like somebody to tell me now, which one now is the thing that you would say is adaptability, the importance of adaptability for you in your own space. Have you needed to adapt? I've used a big range, the last 3 to 4 years. We've really, really learned this. Any organization that was not adaptable probably is starting from scratch today. COVID. Any organization that did not adapt to change. I remember how it was very interesting that even the mainstream old organizations that never advertise. I like to say two people who never really, in fact, I don't think I've ever seen an advert of welcoming people to those organizations. I've never seen mosques inviting people with a big billboard coming soon. They just go open a mosque and the Muslims there find their way there. Another example is the Catholic Church. See any big billboard. They just open here and the Catholics that are there will join. But during COVID, oh my, they had to figure out how to go on TV. They had to find a way to get on radio. They discovered YouTube. and they had to know how to live stream if there was no choice, because those people who troop in their numbers to their mosques or their churches now was at home during the lockdowns. And the only way they could meet their target audiences and the people that they care for was through the internet. So everybody discovered how to be digitally savvy. The person who could operate Zoom and knew how to use social media was the key person in those organizations. Everybody, no matter how old they were, had to adapt. So adaptability was critical for survival. And I dare say this for you and I, adaptability is going to be very critical for us to survive in the global economy and in our own careers. So I can see somebody saying rigid policies sometimes can hinder an organization or hinder you from growing, isn't it? And so you must, I mean, is the policy working for you? Is it working for the organization? I mean, there are some policies where you say it has always been like this. Okay, we're in a different time. Is it still working? And if the answer is no, you gotta make some changes. Then we see teamwork. Teamwork is a very critical thing. I think when we talked about dealing with diversity, some of those things we said are what enhance good teamwork. That, and I want to throw a word here, kindness, being kind to those you work with, being kind to those you lead. If you're not aware of the time we're living in, then you can afford to be brash and hard. But if you realize that the person that's coming to work with you, whether you're the leader or you're just a teammate, is somebody that is having to overcome a lot. Post-COVID, we all have different things we've had to overcome. And currently, the global economy has put people in a particular space that is not a very easy space. So the person that is coming to work with you in your team is somebody who may be carrying different issues on their shoulders. Some of them maybe health issues, mental health issues. Some of them are financial issues, financial challenges. So as organizations, for our teams to work, kindness is a critical thing that will need to be put into place. Teamwork, kindness, good communication skills, being able to communicate effectively and as clearly and as often as needed. Because it's not enough to communicate, but it's to communicate clearly and to communicate frequently. So I'm tying teamwork and communication skills here as well. Because for my team to work, first of all, the team leader needs to share the vision clearly. And then once I'm a part of this team, I must buy into that vision and make sure I understand what we are doing together. All our efforts now as a team must go to that. But if I come into a team and I want to be one-man show, consulting nobody, doing my own thing, then it cannot work. I want you guys to write for me in the chat, please. What are some of the things that make teamwork sweeter? That oil that machine, that enables our teams at work and anywhere else to rally together to the common goal and succeed. Please type it for me in the chat. How can we ensure that we are great team players as well? You know? Oh, physical proximity. That's an interesting one. So you think, now the guys who love working from home wouldn't like that one very much. So shed a little light on that. I know there are many employers right now globally who have been saying that they don't feel the same level of effectiveness from their employees when they're at home. But the employees, we may have a different view, but that is not where we are here today. So, but I do know physical proximity helps in difficult conversations. Isn't it? There are times the team needs to just face each other, look at each other, and talk. So I can see communication. Oh, yes, communication again. Honesty among members. Say what you mean and then mean what you say. Do what you say you will do. You said you will do it when you said you will do it. Very good. Something else. Accepting redirections. Oh, that's a good one. Not just going this way. I mean, there'll be times you have to be redirected, be adaptable. Strong leadership. If you're here and you're a team leader, Don't say your entire team is horrible. The bad stuff's with you. Strong leadership. We need leaders that have bought into the vision and are able to articulate that vision so that we can also buy into it and then lead by example. I have very good and loyal leader. This is also, I'm going to flip this also because it's not just the team members to be loyal to the leader, but also the leader needs to be loyal to the team, should care about the team, isn't it? Oh, very good. Something else? These are all such good ones. Let's see. Please elaborate teamwork in virtual workspace. Okay, we'll come to that. Recognition and appreciation by the leader or for the leader. Someone please elaborate. Complementary abilities and seamless connection, especially in remote working. Now, this is touching a little bit on virtual workspaces because the reality is we're not always going to have that privilege of working with everyone together, especially in the global workplace. We know it's possible for me to work from here and I'm doing work from somebody who's in Japan. So diversity is also going to be thrown in here. Secondly, an understanding of the infrastructural needs you have to ensure consistent connectivity, isn't it? Being able to also use the digital tools that can enable you to see the tasks, whether you're here or abroad, that everybody is able to look at the same thing, receive communication at the same time, depending on, regardless of their different time differences. This becomes very important. You must use the technology and the tools available to ensure the communication remains seamless when you're not working in the same environment. When you're in the same environment, still, you don't get lazy. You still communicate. Let me say this, use every tool available. Don't tell people I sent it on email and then keep quiet and leave it there. Send it on email, send it on WhatsApp, put it on Trello, put it on your, if you're using Teams, on the task planner. Put it everywhere. Make it easy for the entire team to see what you're all doing. Having diverse perspectives, promoting integrity among the team. Integrity, say what you mean, do what you said you will do it the right way, be honest, I say this, I tell people two things never go out of fashion, good manners and good morals. Integrity will never go out of fashion. Never you mind the news. We all want to work with somebody who has integrity. Sharing knowledge and appreciating each other's abilities. This is all very, very important. So all these things you've said are important, but I want to say this. A team is as good as the team members. Normally, they use this analogy for marriage. They say if you take two eggs, one is bad, one is good. If you put them together, everything is bad. So let me use it for teamwork. If the team is good, but you're the weak link, still won't work. Isn't it? We must all purpose never to be the weak link in the team. Appreciate those you're with, then make sure you're doing your own part well. Let me say something about teamwork. There will be teams you will work in whereby you are the star. And let me explain. You have multiple skills, you are the most knowledgeable maybe, and that's fine. So you'll find in that team, 80% may fall on you. Because maybe you're multi-talented, you're multi-skilled, you're very versatile. But is 80% equals to 100%? It's a question. Is 80% equals to 100? No. Your 80% can never, ever be everything. You will still need the other 20% to come from your team members. So in teamwork, one of the things you must remember to do is to appreciate the input of the team, no matter how talented, no matter how knowledgeable, no matter how good you are. The other side is there'll be times when you work in a team whereby everybody is so good that everyone, like probably all that's needed from you in that particular project is 20%. Everybody else is bringing their 10, their 10, their 10. And so in this particular team, the question now becomes, how do you handle your small part? Are you able to take that small part and treat it with the dignity and seriousness required as if it was giving 100%? So in teamwork, there has to be those two parts where you appreciate your team members, even when you seem to be extremely talented and knowledgeable. Also, when you are competent and you are responsible and carry the little that's expected of you with the dignity required, that you develop with you produce with skill. So I love the ones I've seen. Okay, thanks for explaining that, Samuel. Being a recognitive and appreciative leader, very good. As a leader, acknowledge your team, celebrate individuals and team achievements, and foster a culture. Oh, I like that. A culture of appreciation. Somebody else says team appreciation leads that, helps us to oil the team. Oh, embracing and appreciating the diversity will always create a good. Oh, this was from earlier. Okay, so very, very important. So the people who are having to create teams in diverse spaces, one thing I will tell you, you cannot afford not to maximize on the tools available to you digitally to ensure that your communication is seamless, and also be considerate of the different timelines you're working, and understand that people's lives in the different time are also still moving. So ensure you have a way of communicating that ensures everybody sees what they need to see at the appropriate time of the day for them to act on time on what is needed. I like what somebody says, a rope is only as strong as its weakest point. Very true. May none of us ever be the weakest point in your team. You know, as much as the team is supposed to hold each other up, we must never be the weakest link. Something else we're seeing here that is a critical soft skills in today's workplace is organizational skills. This ties in also to project management. That's a big one today. You need to be able to look at the tasks you have, because you won't only be doing just one thing at a time, and be able to organize your work, map out that work like a project, map out the things that are needed, and be able to effectively communicate from each particular phase of the work you have. When you hear people saying, this person does not give feedback, but you see, you cannot give feedback in a timely manner if you've not been able to organize your work well and be able to come up with key steps and key points whereby you can measure progress. So organizational skills are very important in the workplace as well. These are things that employers are needing, and you and I need today. Being a problem solver and a critical thinker is also important so that you can be able to make wise decisions along the way. But someone who's a good problem solver is able to research the different processes that they're involved with and the complexity therein, and then they're also able to go ahead and brainstorm and find solutions. I jokingly say this, if there are people who know how to complain, and people from my country, which is Kenya, we know how to complain. We can complain. In fact, we can bond with strangers at the gas station complaining about the price of fuel. But you see, there is nothing special about knowing how to complain. If you can find a solution to the problem, therein is your value. There you can stand out. So being able to be a problem solver will be closely linked to the amount of money you're able to make. The more problems you solve, the more money you should be making. The more complex the problem you're solving, the more money that should be coming in, the more value you should add. So don't get offended in your work if sometimes what is coming to you are problems. The more you will solve those problems, the better you will do in your career. Don't get upset when everything is not just smooth. It is in the solving the problems, being a critical thinker, thinking about how can I do this better? How can I change this? How can I do this differently in order for me to get a different result from the one I've been getting all this time? There may be some of the sweetest victories you will have in the workplace. So we all cannot afford not to be problem solvers and critical thinkers, especially in the times we're living in. Communication skills, these ones are so important. It is not enough to communicate in a way that you feel comfortable in. Your communication is not effective until the person you're communicating to understands what you're saying, until they understand what you've written. You know, there are people who, I don't know why, but there's some people who maybe are very knowledgeable and enjoy being the only one who really understands complex things. But that's not good leadership now. Let me tell you, you need to break it down for me until I can understand, and my 11-year-old son can understand what you have just told us. Huh? Nobody wants to solve mysteries at work. No, especially not through your email. Just make it clear, make it simple, make it easy to understand. Put your shoes in the shoes of the person you're sending this email to. When they get what you want from them, that brief you're sending, is it clear? Clear, effective communication is a critical skill. And the ability to use the different tools available for your communication. Email writing is so critical. I think we'll do a webinar one day where we just talk about email only. And you'll understand why I'm saying how important it is. Huh? Because we find people in the workplace and they're writing emails that rob them of their professional polish. Because your professional polish will touch on how you look, what you say it, how you write. It touches every aspect of your work. So your communication skills are very, very important. You have to equip yourself. You cannot say that you're not able to communicate effectively, that it's okay, that your talent is enough. No. I say this, if the most introverted person talks, it's just that they don't talk to everybody, but they talk. And in fact, if you ever got an introvert talking, it is the most beautiful thing because it's well thought out, well structured. They have structure in the way they talk. So you must be an effective communicator. You must know how to use every tool available. Is it PowerPoint for your presentations? Is it your email writing? Is it your project paper that you need to send? Is it a brief you're sending? You must ensure that you're using it in such a way that from your supervisor to the person who is reporting to you, to your colleagues, everybody gets it. Communicate. Remember, it's not enough to communicate. You must communicate at the right time in a timely manner. You must communicate with the right tone, isn't it? Even in email, the tone, you have to think about the tone. I mean, let me ask this question and just answer it in the chat for me. Have you ever not gotten what you want from somebody because of the tone of your communication? Oh, somebody says, unfortunately, from my observation, many people are poor readers. So communication on email is a big challenge, even when the content is as simplified and as polite as can be. The people working with her or him need to watch. But we cannot be excused from reading. We must read. We must read. Let me also say this. I know I said that we must communicate as much as possible, as frequently as possible, using every available tool. But let me also say this. You who's been communicated to, you have also a responsibility to receive the communication. If it was sent on email, I also have no excuse to say I didn't see it, as long as it landed into my email. So it's very, very important that we are intentional communicators. We are timely communicators, right? We are thoughtful communicators. And you are clear on who you're communicating with. In fact, there's several things that will determine the kind of tool you will use, and also the tone you will use. One of the ones that really will affect is, who are you writing to? Who are you communicating to? Number two, what is your relationship with that person? Because that will determine the tone, right? And then what are the circumstances around this person? For example, you want to communicate to your team that is out there in the field. Honestly, is an email effective? No. At that point, you better pick up a phone and call. Probably a text message would do, but not a text message using text slang that not everybody can understand. It is a text message that anybody can understand. Use proper English when you're communicating, even on text for work. Don't come now and make it so it's like we need a tool, a manual, an encyclopedia to understand your text. No, make it simple, easy to understand. Let me also say this: as long as you have made your content simple and polite and clear, then that is your responsibility. The rest is on the rest of the team, right? Anybody that comes to the workplace space needs also to be able to ask questions where they don't understand. If that's a critical one, where people need to be able to ask where you don't understand. So I was asking, okay, so I was asking guys, have you had a situation where, because you did not communicate effectively, so maybe it was the tone you used, it may not even have been what you said, but the tone or the timing, because communication also has to be done at the right time. Have you ever lacked what you wanted? Did you miss what you wanted? Let me see if anyone has told me. Has anybody answered me on okay, the question here is, have you ever had an instance where, because of the way you communicated, you didn't get what you got? It wasn't the content of your communication, but the way you got it, right? Because tone is very, very important in communication, and you must be very clear. Who are you communicating with? The way you communicate with your boss may be different from how you communicate with your friends. If you're talking to your boss or a client or somebody you're not familiar with, you are using formal tone, isn't it? But if it is somebody that you are very familiar with and it is not about something formal, then you can be allowed to use an informal tone. So communication in the right tone at the right time, ensuring we're communicating in a timely manner and as simply and as frequently as possible is a critical communication tool. Okay, so somebody said yes, but it was due to loss of meaning, due to interpretation. Okay, those are people who are now working in situations where it's a multicultural and multilingual team. Anybody else who can tell us a situation where you didn't get what you wanted because of the tone that you used? Okay, as you tell me that, let's continue with critical soft skills we need. Now, this next one is very related to the one we just talked about. Emotional intelligence. Oh. This one, let me tell you, male or female, you must develop your ability to have some emotional intelligence. You must be able to read the emotions of the other person and respond accordingly. That is emotional intelligence. It is twofold. One, be able to read the emotions of the other person and respond appropriately, and also your own emotions in the workplace appropriately. If you do not have emotional intelligence, you're going to find yourself having very hard times working in a team or working with a boss or working with clients or just even in your personal relationships. So what is emotional intelligence to you? Let me hear from you. What is emotional intelligence to you? Type in the chat. We're looking out for you. What is emotional intelligence to you? What is emotional intelligence to you? Because this is a major one right now, right? Especially in the times we're living in. And as I've said, I've been given you my definition, which is the ability to read other people's emotions and respond appropriately to them. We've had of reading a room. But also me managing my own emotions in such a way that I'm able to interact well with the people I'm working with. Right? So can I hear from any of you about emotional intelligence? It is very critical. Teamwork cannot work if we are not emotionally intelligent. I should be able to read your emotions, be able to know this is not the right time to crack that joke. I must be able to know this is the time to speak, this is the time to be quiet. Let me give you an example. Maybe you're working for Homeboys and they're not a publicly listed company. And your boss just reported negative financials that day. You've been working with them on a temporary contract, and they had promised after 6 months that they would review your contract. When your boss comes in and he goes to his office, you see him and you say, "Oh, at least he's come. It's been 6 months. Let me go see him." You walk and knock on the door, and your boss says, he looks up at you and he says, "Yes." This is somebody usually who would say, when you're walking, he says, "Oh, hi, Shiko, how are you today?" Is that a good time to ask your boss, "Sir, I've been here for 6 months, and you promised that after 6 months you review my contract"? Is that a good time? And if not, what is likely to happen if you choose to proceed with your mission? Okay, some guys have given me some beautiful definitions. So how I express my emotions and regulate them. Somebody else says that being able to understand and handle emotions. Good, 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 good. Let me see another one. Capacity to recognize, understand, and manage both one's own emotions and those of others effectively. Good. Being able to manage emotions without hurting others. Very good. Let's see. Reading the prevailing mood and acting accordingly also entails awareness of your own emotions. Managing an interpretation of feelings and communications that have been conveyed to you. All right. So in the question I asked earlier, very good, Victor. Ability to understand and manage my emotions as well as recognize and influence the emotions of those around me. Yes, all those are amazing and are the right definitions, good definitions of emotional intelligence. So the question I gave you, would that be a good time to come and ask for an increase? No, isn't it? Because what might happen as you ask your boss for a review of contract at that particular time, chances are, yes, Bernice, it is a big no, right? Because he may even begin to think these negative financials, half-year financials I have just come from reporting, may be related to this person standing in front of me, right? So learning how to read the moment. That time, the best way to get out of that situation is to just say, if you're already there, is to say, "Sir, when would be a good time to see you?" Because you can already see it's not a good time. And then he can tell you when. But if you proceed to that time, you may get your feelings hurt and you may even not get what you were looking for. So, reading the emotions of others and managing your own as you respond to them, and also being able to manage your own emotions in the workplace. I cannot afford to come to work. And I mean, I teach, for example, and come in front of my students and start to cry there. And when they ask me too many questions, and I say, "You guys don't even know what I've been through." It is not their responsibility. You can imagine how that would go. I just start crying. You're just bombarding me with questions. I'm going through so much. It's not the place or time. I need to go and calm myself in the faculty lounge, calm myself down. If I need to cry a little, go cry in the washroom, pat my tears, and then come wipe my tears, strengthen, fortify my inside, and then go there and do the job I'm there to do. Let me also throw this there because I know some men may be thinking I'm talking to the women. No, it's to everybody because we know some people even sulk in the office. I don't know if you've ever worked with somebody who you have to walk on eggshells around them. Yeah, you need a report from them, or maybe they were doing some edit for you, and you have to now look and see, are they in a good mood today? When I ask them today, please, nobody needs to walk on eggshells around you in the workplace. They just need to do their job. So please, you cannot sulk in the office. You have to manage yourself and your emotions. Make it easy for people to interact with you at work. Just because you're having a bad day, you shouldn't give everybody else a bad day. You should be bold enough to say, this is not a good time. Can I please get back to you? When you're told that as a person, do not force them to talk. Say, okay, when do you think I can come back? You know? But you can't be the one with a bad day every day. You can't be that person that's so talented, but people can't talk to you. They are worried. Is he okay? Should we talk now? Should we go now? At some point, this becomes too much. We have just overcome a pandemic, for heaven's sake. We don't need more drama in our lives. We don't need stress. Just let us work. Manage yourself. If you have a volatile temper, you have to deal with it elsewhere. You can't be blowing up at work. It's not acceptable. You must manage your own emotions. Let me also say this. You have to overcome the fear of being wrong. People can't read your mind at work. You must overcome the feelings of fear and timidity that come that make you unable to even volunteer ideas. You know, that you cannot succeed in the workspace if you're not willing to open up your mouth and talk. You must give your ideas. You must share your opinions. You must be willing to overcome that fear of speaking in public and be able to actually articulate your ideas. Because no matter how intelligent you are, if we don't hear it coming out of your mouth, we'll never know. It remains a secret that only you know. So you must, emotional intelligence, you must also manage your fears. So it is very, very important for us to be able to have some emotional intelligence. Oh, I like this. A bad workman quarrels with his tools. Yes. You can't be the one who's always in a bad mood. No. Also, there are days you should come in a good one. Time management. This is a topic we would need an entire day, an entire session to talk about. Your ability to manage time, both as far as showing up on time and communicating on time if you can't make it, but also the delivery of your projects. You know, a lot of us work in fast-paced environments, so it's important to deliver on time. Communicate on time if there's a challenge in your delivery. So it's not just about coming to time, being able to come on time to work, but when you're there, utilizing that time as best as possible, as productively as possible. I can tell that many of you who actually work remotely. So it means you have to come up with ways to manage your time from home, where there's nobody looking and seeing what you're doing. Have a schedule, have a good routine that utilizes and maximizes your most productive hours. Making sure that you're also carving out time for personal development in what you're doing. So you're also bettering yourself as you go. Interpersonal skills are the ones that are very important soft skills. We've already talked about this, from teamwork to dealing with diversity and just being personal. Tell young people this: if you want to bond with people, you want to work in a team, you can't come with headphones and stay in your headphones the whole day and wonder when nobody's talking to you. If you're on those headphones and for work, at some point remove them, turn, look at the other person, smile at them, have open body language that welcomes people to interact with you and talk with you. And the last one I want to talk about is tenacity. This one, let me tell you, you cannot afford to be fragile in the times we're living in. You have to find a way to fortify your inside, that you can receive any kind of feedback that needs to be given to you and keep it moving. That when things don't work the way you want them to work, you must be able to continue with your dream, with your vision, and with your work. Tenacity, grit is important. We cannot fall apart every single time. I know there'll be tough times, but this is the thing. You are in charge of how you handle your tough times. You did bring them onto yourself, but for sure, you are still the person who has to be in charge with managing those tough times. So let me say this: doing all it takes, whether it means seeking therapy to manage yourself, to manage the things you're going through, for you to be tenacious enough to handle the work ahead of you, the tasks ahead of you, the challenges you may be facing is a critical skill you will need. The ability to go through the difficulty of having difficult conversations for you to get what you need, whether it is help, whether it is a promotion, whether it is additional support, human resource support, you must. And you don't give up after doing it one time. You've got to do it over and over and over again. People are giving up too soon in life, too easily. Giving up on yourself, giving up on your dreams, giving up on your relationships, giving up on other people should not be an easy option for you. Yes, Vanessa, it is being able to pick yourself up, isn't it? Let me tell you, you must be your biggest cheerleader, telling yourself, hey, Shifu, come on, get up. We are not done. Don't give up. Huh? Get back up again, picking yourself up over and again, not allowing one thing to color the rest of your life. Being able to let an event be what it is. It is a bad day, not a bad life. I failed at this. I didn't fail in life. Being tenacious, getting back up again. Our adversity quotient in the day we're living in is as important as our IQ, as our EQ, as our social quotient, SQ. We must be tenacious. So it is so very important to develop all these and many other skills. Time fails us to go in depth for many other ones. But I'll say this, digital skills, you can't get away from these ones in today's world. We are a global workspace and you're delivering to people globally. So you must educate yourself on the digital platforms available to you and the digital tools that are available for you to be able to work remotely, collaboratively in the digital space. These are the critical skills I want us to talk about today. So as we proceed, we will allow you to ask any questions you may have for us to be, okay, and all right, I don't want to ignore any of the things in the team. Sit with that thing, address it, and walk through it. Yes. Very, very important. Let me see this one. Oh, wow. Somebody's saying a big thank you to us. This is amazing. Very, very good. Thank you. Thank you for this. Very good. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Paul Savatia. Thank you. And noted. All right. So it is important for us to ensure that in professional polish, which I've alluded to, that we must be aware of the different ways people interact with us in the world. Dale Carnegie tells us that there are 4 ways in which we interact with the world, and we are judged and classified based on these 4 contexts: how we look, what we do, what we say, and how we say it. We've already talked about communication, which is what we say and how we say it. What we do, our professional polish must be infused in the way we carry ourselves at work. From how I dress, how I groom myself, to the way I deliver as far as my written communication, my spoken communication, as well as my personal values, my ability to stand for who I am, ensuring that my values are in place, well, they do not in any way clash with the organization's values. What I do away from work can be as important as what I do in the workspace. This is where character comes in as well. So what we do can be as superficial as body posture, as the way I carry myself, but it can be as deep as my character. You must infuse your professionalism and the polish in all these various areas so that you can stand out in any workplace, anywhere you are. We're told how you dress is how you'll be addressed. There are doors that will never open for you until you begin to package yourself in a way that allows you to walk through those doors. There are tables you will never sit on until you begin to package yourself as somebody that belongs on that table. So as we look at ourselves and begin to polish the way we package ourselves, from dress to speech to writing to what we're doing away from the workspace, until we do that, then we may not find our space, which is already ours at the table. So there's a lot we can talk about, and I think we probably would do that in another time. But for today, allow me to finish here and say that let us go out of our way to develop the soft skills that are required to enable us to stand out. Remember, we want to stand out in any workspace, anywhere in the world. So I want to open up for any questions we may have, so that we can then address those as then we can, as we wrap up today. So do we have any questions? Anybody with a question? We can give you a few minutes. Any question? I think somebody had a question. Okay. There is somebody who was saying, I advise the prayer time should be considered, especially Friday congregational prayer. I know that most of us will miss the important part of the program because of this issue. Oh, okay. All right. So this is about the prayer time on Fridays, huh? Okay. And I think that's still dealing with diversity. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for that. Any comments or questions? As regards versatility, I know Anala will also help me on this. Okay, we can see any that I can see. As regards versatility, where do you draw the line between being versatile versus being perceived as a jack of all trades? That's a good one. I think one of the things is that understanding what is the current need. Most places want somebody that's versatile because also budget does not allow them to have too many people doing different things. So if you come across as a person that can do several things well, you become a very valuable part of that team. However, you must also have something that you're the best at. What is that thing you're really good at? And I was talking earlier in a different forum about the power of focus. You must have something you focus on that you're the best at. That these people, the people you work with, can never think that, oh, she's just a jack of all trades, but a master of none. No, you must be a master of something, and then the other things you do are value adds. There must be that thing that they say, this one is for Shiko, this one is for Kimon. What is that thing for you? You must make sure you're the best at something, or you're really, really good at this particular thing. And then the other things become the value adds, because we must not be a master of nothing and a jack of everything. All right. And then it's good to know your organization's needs and where the organization is at. When organizations are cutting costs, shrinking to grow, at that time, versatility becomes extremely important, more than you just being a niche person in this area. But on this other side, there's a season that comes when now they're able to staff the different positions. And now at that point, if you are not good at something, you may be the person that's forgotten. So make sure that everybody is clear on where your forte is, and make sure that stands out. Okay, are there any others? On communication skills, what can you say about the non-verbal aspect of it? Oh, this is very, very important. In fact, can I say this? Sometimes your non-verbal communication speaks louder than what you say. And that's where you must watch on how you carry yourself, isn't it? As we're talking about even a professional polish, how you sit at work. If I'm sitting in a particular way like this, I'm not looking like I'm a busy person. I'm not communicating, I'm engaged, I'm ready. That may be for me and my girls when we are chilling at home. But if I'm in a business meeting, you better sit up straight. Whether it's an interview, because an interview is just another business meeting where you're, trying to get a position where you can exchange value for value. You give your skill, your knowledge, and they give you a salary or whatever. So your nonverbal communication, from making good eye contact. I know nowadays we're not shaking hands as much as before. You must be very emotional intelligence. Read the room. Don't push your hand into somebody's face if they don't want to shake hands. That's fine too, But when they want to shake a hand, having a firm, warm handshake. When you're saying hello, give them a warm smile. When you're talking to them, look at them. These things matter. You don't look disinterested when somebody is talking to you. We talked about listening. Nod as you're listening. Let them know you're with them. Non-verbal communication also is very, very important, and you can't ignore that. Even your body language matters. So it's important to think about also the non-verbal aspects of your communication. Your written communication has to be excellent. Use Grammarly to proofread and to help you with proofreading, and also proofread your own work because it's a reflection of who you are. But it's also very, very important to note how you carry yourself. And you don't chew when you're talking, No, no. Addressing people, get rid of the gum, don't poke it when you're talking to them, using measured hand gestures, very, very important. How does one be reliable in a technical career, especially in unprecedented problem-solving situation when they come into play? And I don't know if you want to jump in here, but let me say, but let me just throw this out here. There's some things that will come with experience. Because if you're in a technical career, troubleshooting and problem solving comes with it. The more experience you have, the better you will be at solving some of these things. Learning from those that are ahead of you also is quite helpful. But I'll say this, being well prepared before you start a task will make you more confident in handling any issues that may come up when you're in the process. But being able to also sit back, look at the process, see where is the problem, and then brainstorm that and see how can we solve this is very, very important. I don't know if you want to say anything, Analo, on that.
Yeah, actually, like problem solving, especially in the technical space, I think it's so important to have community in
Yeah.
technical fields. So it's really just about managing relationships and people, because
Yeah.
the beauty about technical spaces is that there's someone who is really good at every particular thing. So if you're able to build community, then you're able to solve your problems because you already have like friends who know how to do other technical things. So like this soft skills thing is like fundamental to everything. And I'd say also on the other aspect of being a jack of all trades, but a master of
Yes.
none. The full saying, it's a jack of all trades, master of none, but better than a master of one. So I think that's also really crucial to look at it that way. Like there's nothing
Yes.
wrong about knowing how to do several things.
Yes. Yes. Because it means more solutions, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So I'm trying to look at the other questions or
There's some questions in the Q&A
um,
box. So
okay. As regards to emotional intelligence versus teamwork, what is to be done about those who communicate their responses based on their inborn hatred? I realized later in life that there are people who just look like you. And I think that was a major discovery for me. And so you cannot spend all your energy trying to deal with somebody who just doesn't like you. But keeping your eye on the goal. What is the job at hand? And when you're factual and you are very clear on what you're doing and why you guys are working together in this particular place, Keep it above the line. Do not degenerate to their level, right? Keep it, I like to say this. If, for example, I have an altercation with somebody, they call me a name, I call them a name. I am not responsible for the name they call me, but for sure, if I allow them to rile me up to the point I call them a name, I now begin to enter into danger zone whereby if they report it, it can actually be said to be, it can be insubordination, it can be me verbally assaulting them, it can be all those things. So you must ensure you control your own emotions, even that thing of knowing this person is saying this out of hate, and keep yourself professional and talk about the facts. And that's why it's important to also have your facts, and have your own back. One of the things you must always do, even in the workplace, is put things in writing. After we have had a conversation, go and write it down. We agreed 1, 2, 3. And then before you send it, don't send it in anger. Proofread it. Go away, calm down, come and read it again. So that at that point, when you're sending it, it is factual. There's not too much emotionalism in it, and you're able to actually just address the facts. You see, what happens is if you keep fact up here and the purpose for why you're working together up here, if this person has malice, eventually it will become clear to everybody, but do not go down to their level. Very, very important. I'm grateful to be part of this wonderful training. Could there be a provision for certificate after the training? Accelerated team will tell us about that. Thank you very much for that. Is there somebody else? Let's see. Is self-awareness a huge need in having the right soft skills? Yes. Let me say this, self-awareness is important even in developing your soft skills. For example, let's assume like teamwork. If I am not self-aware, I may think I'm easy to work with and I'm not. The people who are very abrasive in the way they speak, and they don't realize it. And until listening comes into play, somebody tells you you're abrasive, the way you're talking, you also need to go and sit down with yourself and say, okay, I seem to be getting the same results in different places. The last workplace, they said I'm rude. The last team I worked with, they said I'm rude. These guys are avoiding talking to me. I have to look within and say, Shiko, what is it? Is it the way I'm talking? Because it's somewhere in that in those 4 contacts we have in the world. Either it's the way I'm packaging myself, or it's the way I'm behaving, or it's the way I'm talking. It's either my written or communication. So self-awareness is important because then you will know which ones will take harder work. Which one do I have to work on harder than the others, right? There's somewhere I believe in fortifying your strengths. So when you already have a strength in this area, maximize on it. Yeah. Then have your weak at. When you realize you're weak in this area, work on it as well. Okay. Any others? You can see I have some there. I think we've taken all the questions. Do we have any? Oh, this is how can one control anxiety? Now, I can't give you a conclusive answer on that because I know sometimes anxiety requires you seek a doctor. Okay, a psychiatrist or a psychologist. And therapy is a key factor. Because what the specialist will do is to show you, first of all, to know what are the triggers for anxiety. And secondly, know how to manage your own kind of anxiety. And then also, as you go through therapy, you're able to now go down to understand where is the root cause of my anxiety. Because I know anxiety, we can't be able to go very deep into knowing how bad the anxiety is and is it something, but there are different ways, there are different tools they give you that help you to manage yourself so that it doesn't become debilitating. That you're not able to interact with others or able to make presentations or be able to put yourself out there and share with the world the great things that you carry. So I would really advise that you please seek professional help for anxiety and do not beat yourself up for it, because in the world we're living in today, there are various mental health situations that we have that are really affecting people in the workspace. And mental health is a very important part of all of us. It's just as important as our physical health. If it's anxiety, there is help. There is help. So I would say, please reach out to a therapist and then they can maybe direct you to whether you need to see a psychiatrist for any form of further treatment, or they can just give you tools that you can be able to use to ensure that your life is not paralyzed by anxiety. All right. Do we have anything else as we close? And now our time is up. I don't even know if you can see any of the others.
Yeah, so I think you've covered all the questions, both from the
Okay, do you have
chat.
anything? Uh-huh. Do you have any parting shot? I forgot to ask you how, I think many of you may know that Analo is now son in Soul Generation. She's an amazing musician. She's also an entertainment lawyer. So how have soft skills helped you in your own career as we close?
I think the more like I grow, like career-wise and as a person, like everything is like 70% people management and just learning how to navigate different personalities, and then I guess with different also cultures and professional workspaces, there are different like lifestyles and cultures in different places. So there's school, there's entertainment, there's law, and just understanding culture really helps with not stepping on people's toes, knowing how to speak and what to say. But yeah, I mean, people are hired for what they can do and fired for who they are. So just thinking about that also. Yeah, so self-awareness, it's such a beautiful thing you said. And I really resonate with what you said as well, as not giving up should not be easy for you. Giving up,
Yeah.
on yourself, on your development, on people. So also soft skills is just learning to tolerate and forgive and say it's okay, you know.
Yeah.
Also might have had a bad day, but this has been so insightful, Shiko. I'd
Thank you.
love to sit in another 10 sessions and listen.
Thank you, Anala. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody. Our time doesn't allow us to go on, so we'll end it here. But thank you so much for taking the time to join us. It's been a pleasure for me to share what we could with you. And I really do wish you all the best in your developing your soft skills in your global career. So remember, I'm sure there'll be other opportunities, other webinars coming up, and allow Arnaldo to now take it away. So thank you, everybody. It's been a pleasure. And bye-bye for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Shiko.